Hi, I'm Marcus, otherwise known as Markerphage on YouTube, otherwise known as Falco Arnold on Planetside 2, or the middle nut of Falco Arnold in DPSO. Something that I've been thinking about while trying to get this YouTube channel off the ground is kind of considering my demographic of people, my audience. And granted, my audience is fairly small right now, with it mainly just being my close friends in Planetside 2. Like, I can only assume the rest of the council, Fatal occasionally, and also Slatter occasionally. Given that, and possibly people that they may end up sharing some of my videos with, I'm kind of thinking I'm thinking about like this Planetside 2 demographic, and how do I expand upon this without just posting gameplay videos or posting big brain things about, you know, how you should play the game a certain way, which I don't exactly like doing too much. At least in terms of like macro play. I don't like telling people that you need to run a certain way, one way. You know, I'm kind of a mentor for TWC2 in terms of like their quote unquote competitive team that I founded. For that, like, yeah, I'm kind of very up in their about what they should do, but for the macro community, I'm very hands off, and it's mainly because I don't want to direct people into and telling them what they should be doing in their spare time. And that's a completely different video entirely that I may or may not end up doing. But I digress. What I've been thinking about doing is kind of delving a little bit more into what I do for the community, which is being a community smash organizer. For people who may or may not know, hi, I'm a community smash organizer. I'm not necessarily one that's similar to like Corliss or Osprey or Halot or Reltor. I do work with them, and I do try to help them out whenever I can. But the truth of the matter is that I have been for several years just kind of stuck in my own little bubble of connery, and I haven't really delved outside of it, aside from the occasional time when I would go on to like Emerald or something like that. And there are some Emerald outfits that I know that I've come to, you know, watch and just kind of see how they play and stuff like that. You know, I know about GSLD, I know about 1TR, I know about B-Way, SKL, Fish with Feet, all these different outfits on Emerald. There's some Cobalt outfits and some Miller outfits and some Soltech outfits that I know, but when it comes to like their skill and, you know, and just kind of figuring out how to balance them for Community Smash, I'm very much hands off because I just don't know those outfits. Well, the only outfits that I really do know well for Connery, you know, are Connery fits, like Wild Cards, DPSO, Brack, Tide, Rest, Pigs, CIK, Merc, all these different outfits. Whenever it comes to Connery fits and Planet for the Community Smash team balancing, I will go ahead and put my word in, but for everything else, I'm hands off. And that kind of lends me to having to take on some other responsibilities when it comes to Community Smash. And I haven't necessarily been directed to do this, but it's something that kind of, you know, I think about putting people and placing them in positions that play to their strengths. And one of my strengths is music, mainly because of the fact that I kind of I do piano on the side as like a side gig. I play for like Catholic churches and stuff, kind of dabble in that, but I've been learning how to kind of compose and work with different virtual instruments in my digital audio workstation software that I have, my DAW, for those who have been initiated into music composition in the 21st century. So I try to play to my strength of being a musician to kind of assist with making the Community Smash event seem a little bit bigger and a little bit more meaningful, as something that, you know, some guy who doesn't really know too much about Community Smash would take a look and be like, hey, that's some really cool shit that they got going on. Like, they have their own theme, their stream looks really great, and I might do a lot of behind the scenes behind the scenes videos leading up to CS8 as far as what I do, and I might be posting on this YouTube channel more often leading up to the event in like 2 weeks with regards to like what we're trying to get done for the stream. But mainly right now, this video, I'm looking into delving into the more musical side of Community Smash. And for people who don't know, I'm the one that does the teasers, and I'm the one that also does all of the music, all the soundtracks that we use for our teasers and our trailers, and also for the anthem. If I just go over here to my desktop real quick, you'll see this is actually the project file that I use for the Community Smash anthem. And if you don't believe me, here we go. You know, this is the original this is the project file that I used to compose it, and I can also solo some shit here. You know, here's the French horns, trumpets, staccato strings, rhythm guitar. You know, and I'll go into a video on how I composed this at some other time after CS8. I'm going to be going through all the tracks that I've done after CS8, and breaking down my mindset and kind of my thought process in making them. So this is the original project file, and something that I've been wanting to do specifically for the stream, since that's kind of one of the things that I'm a little bit more, I'm not necessarily an expert when it comes to making streams look nice. Although I do feel like sometimes I may have a little bit of an aesthetic, kind of a 2 cents that I can go ahead and put down. I'm working with AdiPic right now. At least he's mainly doing most of the work on making the overlay look nice and using the API to update certain values in the overlay without having us, you know, do some number crunching. And we also are going to be having a caster team that will be determined sometime in the near future. And my hope is for this upcoming Community Smash, for CS8, it'll be a lot more when it comes to the production value, and I feel like it already has reached this. The production value will be much, much greater than it was for CS7. For CS7, that was kind of my debut into kind of becoming an organizer in CS and actually being useful for the team in some way, shape, or form. I composed the anthem. I also did the opener video for the stream, which, you know, people in the stream were saying that it looks pretty good. So I kind of want to build off of that and kind of really go balls deep for CS8. As you may have already seen, I've done a couple of teasers. I've done teaser 1 and teaser 2. I'm going to be coming up with teaser 3, which is going to be encompassing all the things that we know about the two teams. So who's the FCs, the outfits that are going to be together, the map. I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of different scenes of Hassan with my observer cam. We capturing a lot of battles. I'm doing a lot of first person playing without the UI just to kind of get a couple of good scenes together. But specifically, like I think I've already mentioned in this video, I'm going to be looking specifically at soundtracking. Now, when it comes to the stream, there are going to be 3 soundtracks that are mainly going to be on display. The first one I'm going to go over in this video today that I will talk about at great length, which is going to be the hype track. Now, the hype track, I wouldn't necessarily, it's actually a hype track. It's kind of like a pre-game track. It's just a kind of a build up to the opener video. And this is supposed to be a looping track. So it'll go on for however long it needs to go until the casting team feels like it would be necessary to actually start doing the opener video, and then they go ahead and do their own spiel. It's kind of akin to how the devs do their dev stream, where they have the original Planetside 2 OST play before they actually have the dev stream go ahead and start. So I'm going to be kind of going into depth as far as what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm going to be doing moving forward, at least for this video. And in a future video, I might go over some of the progress that I've done specifically to this track. So again, the one track that I'm going to be focusing on today, which is going to be a part of the stream, is this pre-game track. The second track that's going to be on display on the stream is something that you guys have already heard before if you've watched Community Smash 7, which is the anthem theme, which I've kind of reworked for Community Smash 8 just to kind of make it have a little bit of a more oomph to it. I've kind of remastered it and made it sound a little bit more grandiose, I feel like, in my opinion. So it'll sound a little bit different for this upcoming Smash. And then the last track, which is something I have to confirm with the casting team at some date coming up before the event, if they're okay with it, have some kind of like a background track that would be playing while they're going over, you know, the both teams, the outfits on both teams, the FCs, the people, the participants, as well as what the event's about for people who aren't exactly familiar with what Community Smash is, and all these different things. So that's gonna be for a different video. Today is gonna be on the pre-game stream track. So what I tried to accomplish here, as you might be able to see with some of these markers, is that there's different sections to it. So there's a TR, there's an NC, there's a VS, and then I also go into exploring the motif for the regular Community Smash anthem, Born for War, that I composed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of these things, and I'll also play the references and kind of play these guys back again so that we get a second listen to it, for just in case some of you can't exactly pick out some of the elements in these things. So this pregame track has 4 parts akin that which kind of harken to the 3 factions and then the CS anthem. So this first part is going to be the TR part. I fast forward it over to the harmony bit that I think sounds really big. So here we go. So that's the TR bit, and you may have recognized it, but for people who can't exactly pick it out, here's the original TR theme. And then it does a key change, but that's the basic idea. And then just to kind of emphasize the main theme, I'm going to go ahead and solo the horns just so that way y'all can get a better idea as far as what it sounds like. I'll also add a little bit of harmony with the legato strings part that I have. So there you go. That's the TR theme, basically in a nutshell. Here's the NC bit. Now, before I get into it, it's going to be a little bit of a, well, I'll just go ahead and let it play. It's going to be a little bit of a culture shock for people that haven't played Planetside 1 or are familiar with the Planetside 1 tracks. So that's the NC bit. Now, for people who have played a lot of Planetside 2 and don't really know a lot about Planetside 1, you might be thinking, what the f***? So the melody there is the actual NC theme, but the background of it, the harmony behind it is different than what people are accustomed to, because in Planetside 2, it has this very like Western movie, kind of a cowboy kind of a vibe behind it. You have like this one violinist, and you have like America shooting flames and with like guitars and crap. And I'm kind of exaggerating that, but essentially it has this very American-esque kind of a vibe to it. And here you don't have that. It's a little bit more, it's kind of still an imperialistic kind of a vibe, like akin to like the TR, but it has a little bit of NC in there. And what I was trying to accomplish there is I tried to harken back to the Planetside 1 track for the NC Sanctuary theme that I'll go ahead and play for you guys right now. Bear in mind and listen for the change in the harmony here, the background part that's supporting the melody, which in this case is not a guitar, but rather a synth. So that's the NC bit, the NC Sanctuary bit. And I'm going to go ahead and play the main part, the melody parts for this. So that'd be the trumpets. I'll add some French horns in there. I like the staccato strings and the legato strings. I'll have the legato strings there for just harmony support. F it, I'll also add the guitars in there. And I'll also add the synths there. So, mainly, basically everything except percussion, really. Have the aux horns in there, screw it. So there you go. That's the NC Sanctuary bit there. Now here's the VS bit. Now as a VS main, this I am not proud of it. I don't like how it came out, and I'll be kind of talking about this later. But when it comes to the VS, I think about space because they're like space pirates that worship an alien god called Vanu. I don't exactly know the lore behind it, but all I think about is just aliens. And when I think about aliens, I think about the vastness of space, the openness of space. And so what I tried to do here is I tried to kind of capture that kind of a vibe with different synths. And disclaimer here is that I am not competent at all in making my own synth patches. So what I generally do is I'll go off of Massive, which is my VSTI that I use for synths, and I'll listen for different presets, and I'll use the different presets and just kind of tweak them a little bit to get what I kind of want. I'm really bad at making stuff from scratch. So this is kind of what I got going here, just to kind of make it sound a little bit airy. So, you know, just right out the bat, the characteristic of that is kind of openy, kind of a, you know, an airness to them because they are synths. It's a little bit of a higher pitch that I have also here. When I add the guitars as well and the reverb from the guitars, it really kind of helps. It helps add a little bit of power to it. So there, it adds a little bit of power. Now, if I play the actual thing for you, here we go. So that's the VS bit, and just to kind of have you guys listen to the actual main theme, here's the the real main theme behind the Vanu Sovereignty, which is a hell of a lot faster than what I got going on for the current track that I have. So there's the VS theme. Yeah, again, I'm not exactly proud of what I got going on here, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. And then after that, we have the CS theme kind of incorporated into this, which I actually kind of like how it came out. So here is what it sounds like. So that's the CS theme, and just to kind of play it for people who aren't exactly familiar or don't exactly remember how the original theme sounded like, here's the main motif. I'll just go ahead and play the main parts that play the melody, which would be, I'll add some support in there too. So I'll have the auxiliary horns, staccato brass, all these brass instruments, and also the staccato strings, harmony with the legato strings. I'll add basically almost everything with the exception of some of the percussion. So all of this stuff here. So that's the main part for that. That's the main theme. Here, again, is kind of what I'm trying to accomplish. I'll just play again, a majority of the things that'll just kind of help you recognize what's going on. So that's the main theme there that you are able to listen to. I have a second part of it in here, which is another motif. And this part, when you listen to it in the original anthem that I composed, this bit has like, I called it CS NFL here, the marker I have on here, mainly because when I hear it, I just think about like the NFL theme in the background. So, you know, here we go. Hold on, there's one VST that's acting really weird. Here we go. So there you go. That's what that sounds like. Yeah, so when I play this bit, there's a little bit of a similarity here. It's mainly a guitar solo that I turned it into. So here we go. Right, so there you go. That's kind of what I got going on there. Obviously the guitar needs a little bit of work, but I like how it's coming out. Now that being said, why did I go and kind of show you guys this, aside from just, you know, kind of showing you the behind the scenes of some of the stuff going on with CS? I don't exactly like this too much. I don't like the rest of it. I don't exactly like. Well, there's parts of it that I like. I like how the harmony for this TR bit came out. So like, you know, this, like, I like how big that sounds like. When it comes to the NC Sanctuary theme, I like the different change in the harmony that you get from the NC Sanctuary theme versus the original. You know, I really like how that sounds like. The VS bit, I don't like how it came out. This, I'm not even gonna play it. CS, this part, hells yeah, I like this. Like, it just sounds so mean there. This bit, you know, you have the guitar. Like, that's such good hype there that I like that. And as a composer, you need to like the thing that you're making. The problem is that when I put all these things together, I don't like it. And what's important when it comes to composing is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When you add everything together, you need to like the whole thing and not just the individual things. I like the individual things when you separate them apart from each other. When you add everything together, what I feel like is going on is that all of this just sounds so constrained. And I feel like the biggest issue with that has to do with the tempo, because when you listen to the original theme track, the original OST for Planetside 2, at least when you hear it before the devs start doing their dev stream, there's a very distinct TR bit that you hear in the beginning, and then it stops, and then it goes right into the NC bit, which is completely different than the TR in terms of the instrumentation, the orchestration, and also the tempo. They have their own thing there, and then it stops, and then it goes into the VS bit, and then it stops, and then it loops over and over and over. Whereas here, this is just one continuity, which is good in some instances. It's good to have continuity here, which is kind of the reason why I'm doing this in the original project file, that I did for the original Community Smash Anthem. You know, the problem is that as a stream building kind of as a pre-game kind of a thing, I don't think right now what I have going on would be best to use. So I think I might actually scrap this whole thing that I've done. In terms of how it is together right now, I think what I may end up do, just to kind of give each different faction just the same amount of shine as the CS Anthem is getting, I'm gonna do the whole like TR theme, my iteration of it, within this orchestration. Maybe a different tempo. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Then the NC bit, using the NC Sanctuary as a backbone for it. Maybe a completely different tempo, but same orchestration. The VS bit, I might use a different tempo, same orchestration. I might be able to get it to sound a little bit better, something that I might actually like a little bit more. The CS stuff, I'm going to leave it as is, because that's kind of what I built this whole thing off of. So I may end up, just changing all this out together, keeping in mind the things that I like and the things that I don't like, and just kind of adjusting to that. So that's kind of the first part of what I'm kind of going to be going over for CS8, the behind the scenes, just kind of sharing my ideas while I'm getting this done. There'll be a video in the future sometime this week, I can only imagine, where I have kind of ironed out what I've done here, and hopefully we'll have a better product that'll be fitting for the pre-game hype leading up to Community Smash when the stream is going. So that's really, I think, all I have for today's video. And if there is anything else, I'll probably edit it in at some point, like right now. But if I don't, that's basically it. If you kind of liked some of this stuff that I'm kind of going over, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Please also let me know down in the comments what are the things that you might like seeing behind the scenes when it comes to Community Smash, and or maybe just like other things as well pertaining to like how I go ahead and compose and do stuff. I don't know, or maybe just Planetside stuff, whatever it may be. But until then, I am Marcus, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video. I'll catch you guys later.